Yo, all right. So today, what we're gonna do is, excuse my voice here, but what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna build a enrichment pipeline from totally from scratch. You go to conferences, there are lists that are generated everywhere, but those exist in spreadsheets, and they really should be in your CRM, and they need to be cleaned. And data providers will include middle initials and the first name, and the company names won't be right, and you won't have a LinkedIn URL or a company domain. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to build a series of workflows. We're going to start with kind of the strategy at a high level, and then we're actually going to go and talk about exactly how I'm going to connect up all these pipes. So let's dive in. So this is a lead list that we got from a conference, and I blacked out the information, but 189 first names, 189 last names, 189 emails, 142 phone numbers, spotty title coverage, only 187 company names. But that's it. There's no, we've got some addresses here, but we don't have any really identifying information. Now, email is great. Like, it's very helpful, but it's not good enough because some of these are Gmail addresses or Yahoo addresses. We have no idea really who this company is. And so we need to take this unstructured content and turn it into structured content. So, and a workflow, and it has to be programmatic is really key. So at first, what I'm going to do is just kind of design the overview of how I'm thinking about this. First is like unstructured data, and it can come in any format. This is really important because you can't do this really well if you expect a certain format. Now, there's only really three things that we really care about, which is company domain, company LinkedIn URL, and then person LinkedIn URL. This is really all we need. Now, there's a couple of other edge cases here where I'm just not going to focus on them for now. Basically, if we can't find one of these things, we don't need all three. The person LinkedIn URL is really important, but we can go fetch that later. As long as I have the company domain and company LinkedIn URL, I probably also need the person's first and last name, full name. Cleaned. Let's also, now there are company name. These are secondary priorities actually, because I can always enrich from these starting points. So these are P2 and P1. Now, excuse me. The challenge here is that this workflow needs to terminate. And so really we don't want, let's see if I can, this is the first time using this feature. Transparent, no fill. So this is great. I love this. Yeah, no align with. How come there's no align with? There you go. Okay, so basically, this has to be a contained workflow. I'm not trying to do everything in the world here, and you could think about these really as just clay tables, because that's what we're going to do all this work in. This is why clay is so powerful, and people don't really understand that we have I like to give things names. The cleaner. All right, we've got the cleaner. Okay, so now the purpose of the cleaner is not to actually enrich anything here. Now we want to pass just a couple of things over here. Let's do a little line drawing here. Okay. We want to pass, what I'm going to pass over is the company URL, the company domain, do I want to separate this? I probably do. Okay. The company man. Now, this is the world of AI agents, essentially, is what I'm doing. I'm just doing this in tables. The people pleaser. The people pleaser. All right. Now, I'm just trying to manage the complexity here, really, because this just gets so confusing if you don't sort of work out the diagram here. All right, so the company man's entire purpose is to go enrich with both of these things. And this is a waterfall enrichment. So we're going to do, oh, there's actually one thing I'm going to pass here, which is like all unstructured truth. So we're going to do an interesting thing here, which is the actual text is not really too much. So all unstructured truth. So you could think about this list as having truth to it, right? So the truth in this list, in this case, is like, this is the person's first name. This is the person's last name. This is their email. It may or may not be their work email. And this is their phone. Now, the title is truth too. And the company name is likely truth too. And that's all we have to go on. So we're going to compress all of that truth. So, and I don't know if Clay can do this, but we're going to figure it out. But basically, I want to put this all in one cell when I go and push it to other things, because I always want to be referencing that truth to allow the model to validate, is this the right person? Is this the right information? This is all that we have. And then I can do this at a cell level and say, is this true based on the information we have, or is it false? But I want to pass that truth on to these tables. Okay. So, okay. Now, the other thing that I'm going to create a separate process here, which is, actually, this is not connected here. I'm going to call it, oh, let's see, if there was a caper, what would this person be? Driver. The driver. Maybe this is the backup. So this is going to be a secondary process that's just going to always run in HubSpot. And what it's going to do is it's going to take the information that we have, and no matter how the information gets into HubSpot, we really need to probably set up a separate process here that is really designed to to validate the information. So what the backup is going to do is it's going to push to another Clay table. This is going to be a separate process, basically double checking the work. So it's going to go enrich with all the basic fields, company name. And this is really just in case something goes outside of my process, right? You never know with these CRMs. And you're going to need to basically write to know if this thing was enriched. And so there's going to be a canonical field, which is basically to know if this thing is fully enriched at any given at a record ID level, fully enriched. And this is actually company. And actually, this is probably, it's probably last fully enriched date. That way I have a good understanding of what is the decay of this information, and I can trigger a workflow that says if this has gone, if it's been too long. So we want to enrich company name, company LinkedIn URL. And let's talk about this separately as really a company enrichment and a people enrichment. I may push back to these tables. I don't know. I probably will actually just push back to these tables, the same tables. All right, let's structure this information. Person LinkedIn, company domain, all unstructured truth. So we've got that compressed. This is company name cleaner. And this is just, we're just going to use AI to do this. It's cheap enough. Clay does have a company name cleaner, but it's based on rules, not AI. And I think we can do this for really cheap, really, really cheap. And it makes a difference, right? A person first. Clean. Again, we're going to use AI here. We're going to use the haiku model. It's going to be pennies. So we're just going to do it. Person last cleaned. All validated work email. It's just a workflow to go check the work email and validate it. And this is why this last fully enriched data is like really important. And it's really going to actually start with this sort of person LinkedIn URL because that's where all the enrichment is going to begin. Now, this is kind of tricky because we're definitely going to have a waterfall here. We may have to have a variety of clay agents go find this. This data is kind of, unfortunately, 70% good, 80% good. And so we're going to need to think really deeply about this. Validated work email. Now, we rely heavily on cell phones, and so I think that we're probably going to use enrichment. Now, PDL, People Data Labs, returns a lot of cell phones sometimes. It's like, here's every cell phone that's ever been attached to this person. So I think that kind of grossly, I would like to just have one provider, but this is going to be multi-list. We have a great parallel dialer and service bell. And so I have to figure out if Evan can do this, but I think we're just going to pass all these cell phones for each person. We probably also want title. And this, I think, is okay to have raw title. It's just whatever they call themselves is fine. And then what we want here is seniority. Now, in my, I can't spell seniority. In my CRM, I'm going to want to be able to sort by this. Now, there's a couple of other really interesting things, which is account tier 1 through 3. And we should probably actually do this up here. I don't want to do too much company enriching here because that should be something separate. I think the company domain is probably okay. Persona tier. So this is going to take in the basically the title, the seniority, and the persona tier might be a tier 1, a great persona, but it could be a tier 3 account. So I just want to know what the persona tier. Validated work emails. Oh, the other thing is I want personal email for ads. There's another good piece of information, which is cleaned city. And then I want a clean state. So this is really important because we're going to run direct mail ads, campaigns, like handwritten letters. And I need to know if this person is in the same city and state. Now, these formats are all over the board. So we're going to basically have to use AI to do a lot of this. All right, let's go back to the people, the company title. So, company name cleaned. We want that. Now we actually want a headcount range. I actually don't trust the exact headcount numbers. I think that they're just so faulty. The headcount range is the best that you can do here. And it usually doesn't matter. Like getting the exact number isn't like super important. Clean city. You want clean state. Clean, validated full address. So we're going to have to pull this through a validation process to go make sure that the address is valid, that it's deliverable. We'll probably use Smarty Streets to do this. It's a good API. Lob's API can do this too. I think it's just much more expensive. Then they're all commodities, kind of at the end of the day for the validation of address. This is going to be really important to us actually. And the clean city and clean state, especially with the account tiers, it means that we're going to know ground game. And actually, speaking of ground game, latitude, lat, and long for HQ. Validated full HQ address. Let's see I wonder if locations matters to us. We probably care about number of locations, which is a really hard thing. Location, number of locations, number of locations range. So this is just the number of physical locations they have. We're targeting folks that have a retail component, so this kind of matters. Why did the what else do we care about? Let's see. I always go to ChatGPT in these situations and ask just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I'm building an enrichment pipeline to enrich companies and people. Can you give me all the structured information that I might care about at the company and the people level that is going to be absolutely important to building a world-class marketing and sales organization, and that my data is great? Spare no expense. Create an exhaustive, structured table here in the chat. One for the company information that I'm going to care about, and one for the people information that I'm going to care about. Leave no stone unturned. Use my good tool here, Super Whisper. I'm a big fan. It's every time it updates the memory, it's kind of funny. Oh, industry. That's yeah, industry. Thanks, ChatGPT. Now this industry thing, I wonder if I care about it. Actually, what I care about is the company description, and I probably care about scrape company homepage. I am going to get industry, but I don't trust it. Just for the AI model. What I'm really going to do is I'm going to build my industry criteria for me with the company description and the homepage. It's going to be enough. All right, website URL. Oh, social media links. Do I care about those? I think I just care about the LinkedIn URL in this case. I'm not going to go message them on Twitter. Revenue. Do I care about the revenue? I don't think I care about the revenue, only because I don't know that I should believe it. Funding, don't care about that. I'm looking at another. Let's just actually look through this together. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about it. Oh, department. Do we have department? Oh, I guess I should probably add department. This is going to be really key. And I'm not going to be able to do this really well if I don't have department because, and this is going to come really into the persona tier score too. The department's going to matter a lot here, both department and seniority. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, okay, this is actually interesting. So I think what I'm going to do is a bulleted summary of their full past. Basically, I want I want all the SDRs to have this, including, not many don't include, no, I don't. I want the SDRs to have the ability to go look at all of the information about the company and their past, etc. And I want it in one pane so they can just see this in HubSpot. Let's see, influence the organization. Engagement with your company. I don't care about that. Event participation. Oh, do I want this on the people object? This is kind of interesting. I think I'm going to avoid all those the other kind of criteria right here, which is like, which campaigns are they on? This is not going to, this will be done inside HubSpot. What I just really care about is the workflow to clean everyone and to validate them. Okay, so I think we have pretty much everything I care about. Now, I always think about parsimony here, which is I don't want to create anything that is like really hard to understand. Instead, I want to spend a lot of time getting some of the details really right, like this straight line. Come on, this is driving me crazy. Don't do this to me. There we go. Okay. Let's move this up a little bit because, why not? So I think that some of this data is actually is going to be counterfeit, which we won't push or DQ'd. So if we find that the person is disqualified, we're going to use AI to do this. We're just not going to push them to the CRM. Yeah, and I think actually the best thing to do here, the backup guy, the backup person. Oh, we should probably create two versions of this. So there's going to be a backup that basically is that will take the person LinkedIn URL. Do I want anything else? Oh, person first name. And then person last name. And I actually do want their company domain. And then company LinkedIn. And actually what I probably want to do is I probably do want to pass this field back. So the backup people. So this is the sort of the what's going to happen is that there's going to be some trigger event that will push this to the people pleaser. And so we're going to need to figure out exactly when we have lost data integrity here. And we're just going to go push this to the, come on, straight line. Yeah. So we're going to go push this to the, to this enrichment workflow. All right. The backup company. I'm going to do something crazy with ChatGPT here in a second, and you're going to like lose your shit, I think. I think this is, I've never seen this done before, and I'm just making it up on the spot, but it's pretty cool. All right, the company LinkedIn URL, company domain. I don't care about the person. I do care about the last fully enriched date. Company name, whatever data that I have. I don't know if it'll be clean or not. Oops, I do want to copy that. Company name, company city. Now, some of these I'm not going to have, is my guess. They're going to come into the CRM and they're going to be really dirty. Company state. And full address. Address of HQ. I don't really need to pass too much information back into the cleaner because all I want to do is like, hey, I have some sort of sense of location. I have their domain and the name and their LinkedIn URL and the HQ. So I really just need to pass back a little bit of information back to the cleaning table. And we just need to be really careful about when this is triggered. So we probably could do some of this manually. Let's just clean this over here. We probably could do some of this manually, but yeah, this is how this should work. All right. The backup people also should be from here. All right. Now, the reason that you do any of this is like, Jordan, why? This information doesn't change all that often. It's really so that you can do stuff programmatically, and this data gets away from you so fast. And if you are constantly checking the data against the world, and by the way, it's cheap enough to do this now, we're not going to rely on any individual database. I'm not purchasing any data here, which is like crazy to say. This is all just going to go through Clay enrichments and searching the world. So some of this will be the AI agent searching Google and clarifying stuff. And some of it won't be. Yeah, okay, so we're going to take a screenshot of this and check this out. I'm building a enrichment pipeline so that I can take unstructured lists that the sales team develops and turn them into structured data. I don't know the format that these lists will come in. Sometimes they have all sorts of incongruous information. This is my plan right now, that basically it starts on the left here where the cleaner is the one that's going to clean any data that comes in, company or people. And then what's going to happen is it's going to pass that information to the company man or the people pleaser to go do further enrichment. And then the backup company and the backup people are going to be pushing from the CRM back to this cleaning layer. And this will be a bi-directional sync. So once the backup company pushes the company man, it will push that information back to the database. This is all going to be hooked in a HubSpot. What I want you to do is read this document and help me clarify some of my thinking. If you were me in building this system, what enrichments am I missing? What sort of pieces about data flow might I not be considering? Where am I going to get into trouble later if I miss some piece here? I want you to be the world's greatest expert on sales enrichment, on data science, and have a good sense of what truth looks like in the data and critique this flowchart. So all I'm doing here is I just want to have ChatGPT help me think, honestly, and it can take this flowchart and help me think. And let's see how well it does at this. I probably should also try Claude. Yeah, okay, that's true. The AI will be able to do misspellings. Yeah, email validation formats are really interesting. We don't have the formatting problem. The phone numbers are going to be really interesting. I think that the dialers will take care of this because the formatting phone numbers are good. We definitely are going to just do bare website URL. So that's that. From being contacted multiple times, that's going to be handled in the CRM. This is interesting. Perhaps this is not going to be helpful for us. This is really interesting. I think. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay, let's actually add some information to. Let's add. Company news last 6 months summarized. This I can send the Clagent to go get, so that's a good one. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Yeah, this is really interesting. I don't know how to handle this. We probably this is really interesting because what's going to happen here if a SDR changes someone's title, but the workflow disagrees with that title? Wow. Let's put a pin in that one. This is a good one. Okay, sure. Oh, that's going to be at the email level, so it shouldn't be a problem. This is also really interesting, which is basically what we need to do is we need to forecast the cost of all of this. Cost per run. There's all sorts of things you can do to get these things cheaper, but basically, this needs to be true for both of these guys. Let's put it green. We need to know the price to do this, to do each of these. And if we can calculate the price, we know to trigger basically we know to trigger a new, basically this last fully enriched state, we know to trigger a push. Let's see what else ChatGPT says to me. Yeah, this is fine. Clay can do that. This is actually a really great point. So this is where I think we need a confidence score. Good enough to enrich. Yeah. We probably need AI, and this is going to be some combination of, if it's disqualified, it's going to get really complicated, and I'm going to have to break out all of these criteria here, but we need to know if it's good enough to push. So there might be cases where, well, I think what's going to happen first is we're going to disqualify the account and we'll disqualify the person. If we do that, then basically this good enough to push criteria is going to be like, no, we're not going to push it. And then I think probably this good enough to push criteria is going to be done at do we believe this is the right company domain, the right company LinkedIn URL, and the right company name? And I think if these things are true, we'll push it. But boy, that was a good catch, ChatGPT. Okay, whatever. Okay. Let's ask another question. What might I be missing? What sort of things are absolutely imperative to think about a data enrichment pipeline that I am not considering here? Data is messy and it's really hard to make sure that everything is right. And so, if you were me, what are the things that I'm not thinking of that would derail this project? And when you look at this, what are the boxes that have numerous amounts of depth that I should be thinking about? I generally will use ChatGPT as a thinking companion sometimes here, and this is really helpful. Sorry about my voice. I don't feel well. I'm feeling better, but I just have been talking a lot recently, and I'm kind of recovering. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, this is actually a great point. Is I need to include list source. This is actually like really, really, really important. Shoot, I can't believe how I missed that. Oh, we actually should probably do this too. List source category. And then list source link. It's probably really helpful to be able to link back to the actual file. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. This is super interesting. I don't know how we're going to handle the error tracking. Yeah. Yeah, we got to do that too. Yeah, it's true. This is true. We're going to do that. Yep. Clay will take care of that. This is really interesting. We probably should have. You're right. Watcher. All right. The Overlord. The Overlord. And this is probably this person is going to review the. Actually, let's call this person the bonus. The Watcher. The Watcher. The Watcher has to be a person. And it's like kind of a gross thing that AI can't do this. But this is where manual database audit. And then this is also the quarter. The George the Watcher. Okay, we're going to call this person George the Watcher because we're going to do this quarterly. And George is on the quarter. So George the Watcher is going to not only do a manual database audit, but they are also going to figure out what went wrong in the company man. And then same thing with in the people pleaser. So this is any good system always has an auditor. And George the Watcher is probably going to come in every quarter, and I'll have them manually just check the database and figure out what's going on. And then they're going to feed into the company man, and they're going to feed into the people pleaser. So as we figure out exactly what's going on here, we're going to want George to provide feedback about what's working and what's not. Let's see what else ChatGPT said. Maybe training, maybe cost management for sure. The kind of interesting thing is that you're going to have to balance this against things like what's happening with your Clay credits, because you might actually have money at the end of the month that you can spend. And so sometimes it might actually make sense to go run this. All right. Well, this is the system I'm going to build. I wanted you to see my thinking, see how I'm thinking about this. And this is all going to be done in Clay and HubSpot. And yeah. And most importantly, though, these are going to all pass to separate tables. So the cleaner is really just designed to get one source of truth and hide all of the complexities of how to get that source of truth. And this is hard. Boy, this is hard. It's hard to get this right. But the nice thing is that there's really not a lot of, I mean, I shouldn't say that, but there's a lot of complexity here, but there's not too much information that we actually need on a company. And I basically can lower the bar here by just removing information. Like maybe we don't ever need industry. We just need account tier and some other information. But yeah, so that's the latest here. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great Thursday morning. I can't believe if you watched 42 minutes, but I'm grateful that you did. And thanks for coming on this journey with me. Bye.